All right. To be able to tell the difference between the cheap milk and grass fed cow's milk like this, the best test is to have some grass tea yourself. Now it's extremely bitter. You can add something sweet to help to make it more tasty. But grass tea can be consumed by itself, and I call it a health drink. I mean, people make wheatgrass juice. Well, you can use wild grass and make a tea out of it at least. You don't have to crush it up for that wheatgrass juice. And I've tried wheatgrass juice, and it's delicious. It's very sweet because it's a fresh part to the grass, but you can have grass at any part of its life cycle. It seems to me like with grass, you either have it at a very young age, like in the wheatgrass juice point, or let it dry out till it's brown, and then brew it, or boil water, and then make a tea out of it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if cows eat Indian grass. I assume they do. That's one of the best tasting grasses that I've had. And I know that would transfer into their milk really nicely. I read about mustard, how mustard, if cows eat a particular, I think it's a mustard that I came across in a city, Taos, New Mexico, or Colorado. There's this weed that grows all over, and it puts out a smell if you kick it, kind of like the mint, the wild mint, I guess. But it's apparently transfers into the milk as taste. You notice that taste. All right, so you notice the taste in the milk of what the cow is eating, and I notice the taste and the difference in taste in the milk for this grass fed. This brand's, I could taste the grass because I've made tea out of the grass. All right, so that's a particular property, and I like to call it silica, but I don't know if grass really has got a high silica content. Horsetail has a high silica content to the point where it can be toxic. I expect grass to have some silica, but there's maybe something else, phytochemical of some kind, that gives this milk more of a smoothness, as opposed to the grain-fed cows that produce milk that live in their own filth, that have nothing to graze on, like this farmer across the street from me. The cows have nothing to graze on. They just got all dirt, their own poop. I didn't even see a pile of hay anywhere, and that's got to be traumatic to their health in a lot of different ways, psychologically and nutritionally. But the grass fed milk, you could tell the difference between the factory farm milk and the grass fed milk in taste. But you may, if you're asking why is there a difference, then just make some grass tea and taste that, and you'll notice a difference in how there's a difference. It's just something that the cows can't the cows don't the cows just pass through. The property of the grass passes right through the cow and into the milk, and you can taste that when you make the tea. I don't know if they can't really, they don't really explain anything on the box here. Just they use good practices. It's hard to explain. It's your taste buds that do the explaining. It's your own senses that do the explaining. and experience too. And I'll say that that smoothness that I taste, with grass tea, I taste it, but the real smoothness that I taste come out of Indian grass. So when you make a tea out of Indian grass, that's a lot. That tastes good by itself. You make the tea out of the brown leaves, and that smooth property passes right through. So I would think that if cows could eat Indian grass on a more regular basis, more than grass, you would have the smoothest possible milk out there. This is just based on my experience. If you want the worst tasting milk, then you feed them that mustard that's in Taos, New Mexico. All right, there's different vegetation that lend to different taste quality, different quality of milk. But grass fundamentally, it's just more readily available, naturally. In some places, it's more available than others, and a lot of it is the environment that helps sustain the grass, but also it's a little bit. I'd say it's more environment, but it's a little bit of land management too. Some farmers just put too many cows in too small of a space and tear up their lands, leaving no grass available. And I would think I would, if I was in charge of the farming standards, I would set a standard of requiring the farmers in their fenced in areas, their barbed wire fenced in areas, to have at least a 15% pasture of grass. That's measurable. 15% could be in one section or spread out, but a good rough estimate of 15% grass just available naturally for the cows. I mean, there's certain conditions, of course, that make that impossible, like winter time. So that's something to be debated. But to have absolute 100% dirt, like what I see, nothing for the cows to graze on. That's animal abuse. All right. But going back to grass tea, I'm talking about suggesting that you try the grass tea yourself, and then you'll see. You got the first part where you could taste the difference between the factory milk and grass cow fed grass milk, and then go further and make a grass tea, and then weigh those three tastes to really understand where this benefit is coming from.